Hey, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana. And today I have a little bit of a gripe with the NBA. I hope Adam Silver's listening. They got some work to do. They got to put it into this deal where teams just decide to rest all their players. And I'm not talking about tanking, so this is not really going to fall under the purview of the anti-tanking rules that they've kind of re-emphasized and stressed now that Victor Wembanyama is kind of in the mix and teams are kind of chasing Victor in the Victor sweepstakes. I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors who need to win a game. So I've got two really good season tickets my company does for the Pelicans home games. And so I wanted to do, give my dad a holiday gift. So I gave my dad and his buddy 2 tickets to drive down to New Orleans, about 55 miles south of New Orleans. So I wanted him to go down there and check out the Warriors. I couldn't get down there on a Monday night. They played last night, Monday, November 21st. And, I'm looking at the box score. Of course, I'm a fantasy basketball guy, and I'm looking at it, and I keep getting these reports, DNP rest, DNP rest, DNP rest. The damn near entire Golden State Warriors starting 5, I guess you can consider Kevon Looney a starter, just decided to sit. Look at this. I'm going to share this with you. So my dad gets there and he sends me a text. He's like, the whole Warriors team is sitting, which is just miserable. And it's really not fair. And he said there was a kid was probably about 11 years old. His parents had kind of, saved up and driven down to New Orleans because his son was the biggest Steph Curry fan in the world. And the kid really couldn't wait to see Steph play. And Steph's been on a heater. Obviously, he's having MVP type season. Despite the Warriors' mediocrity as a team. And they get there and then they find out none of these guys are playing. That's going to be that kid's only chance to get to see Steph Curry play in person. And it kind of harkens back to the time that I remember, Michael Jordan, when they were asking about taking games off and why don't you take a game off and why don't you do this? And his response was, this may be the only time somebody in those stands ever gets a chance to see me play. And so he didn't. Worst case scenario, at least these guys could have taken off a game at Golden State where the home fans get to see them all the time. But they decided to chalk up an automatic L. And let me show you this roster. They rolled out a G League team, not even a good G League team. First of all, let's just start at the jump. I've told you 100 times, I think Jonathan Kuminga absolutely sucks. I've never seen whatever it is that people see with him. I do realize he looks like Usain Bolt and he looks like he'd be a really effective basketball player. But he can't dribble or shoot, and those are pretty important the last time I checked. He also can't think the game. Everything I've seen, to me, I see very low IQ, very low skill set. Dribbling and shooting is an issue, and his numbers back me up. I mean, he was a 40-minute guy last night, 6 for 20, 12 of his shots were from 3, 4 for 12. He did make a couple free throws, minus 38 in the box score. So basically, you lose a point a minute every time every minute that Kuminga plays. A dude named A. Lamb started at small forward, 1 for 4 and 1 for 5 in 34 minutes. Kevon Looney played 5 minutes, and I'll be honest with you, Kevon Looney isn't, I don't think he's a great starter in the NBA. He's certainly not an average NBA player, and by my, at least in my opinion, I think he's a far below average NBA player. Dante DiVincenzo is a kid that I really like. I got to see him for a few years with the Bucks. He's coming off an injury, so he got 19 minutes last night. Jordan Poole actually put up buckets. He played 27 minutes, scored 26 points. Anytime you're scoring a point a minute, you're doing something right. Didn't shoot it great from 3, but 6 for 7 from the line. Really was not interested in rebounding or passing the ball with 0 and 0 last night, so he had a 26-0-0 line last night. JaMychal Green is kind of a new addition. They're kind of hoping he can be the backup Draymond to Draymond. Kind of a jack-of-all-trades guy. He honestly would fit perfectly on the Clippers team where they have a bunch of really old guys who used to be 3-and-Ds who really aren't 3-and-Ds anymore. Patrick Baldwin Jr., I guess they pulled him up from the G League. I didn't know he was on the roster. Ty Jerome is an absolutely terrible NBA player. He's, Matthew Dellavedova 2.0. Moses Moody still has not shown any of the things that people think he has. Again, I'm going to hold off on my Moses Moody, assessment until I see a little bit bigger sample size. I've seen enough of Kuminga to know I don't think he's going to be any good at all. That's just my opinion. And then some guy named R. Rollins. His name's Ryan Rollins, played 17 minutes. Now, is that fair, right? That my dad and his buddy had to go down there, drive to New Orleans, took 2 hours to get down there in traffic, get out. They expect to see an NBA game, and they see the Pelicans beat the Warriors by 45. I mean, people wanted to see the freaking Golden State Warriors, right? I mean, the defending champions, Steph and Clay. Clay's coming off a heater. He dropped a 40 burger or whatever down against Houston, and finally it looked like they were starting to click, and then they all take the night off. No Wiggins, no Draymond, no Clay, no Steph. And, you know, again, you can say injury, illness, blah, 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 whatever. This is ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to do this in the NBA. There should be something in place, some sort of fine, because it does a disservice to the fans and the kid that sat behind them. And I'm sure that wasn't the only kid there who was really excited to go down there and see the Warriors play. And in fact, the first time the Warriors played, I gave my tickets to a really good real estate agent client of mine who's one of my really good friends. His son collects Steph Curry cards and loves Steph Curry. So I gave him the Warriors tickets the first time the Pelicans played the Warriors this season in New Orleans. Steph didn't play that game. And so they had to watch the Warriors play without Steph twice. So New Orleans fans don't get to see Steph Curry play. And that's a shame because, you know, he's a really special player. He's doing things, about to turn 35, and he's still putting up MVP numbers. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to gripe about. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have any idea on how they can police this on the one hand, you don't want players to play if they're dinged up. I get all that, and you want to protect them because, you know, you don't want to, fight the battle and lose the war, and I get all that stuff, and it's all about winning rings and whatnot, but, at some point, they shouldn't all be allowed to rest, and if anything, they should, try to rest games at home rather than on the road, because at least the home fans get a chance to see these players more often, where the road fans, that's it, man. I mean, that's it for the Pelicans trying to see the Warriors. There may be one more on the schedule, but I don't know if there is or not. But 0-2 trying to see Steph Curry play basketball. And then you got to watch, Kevon Looney, Kuminga, some guy named Lamb, Baldwin Jr., Ty Jerome, and R. Rollins play. I mean, it's just a shame, and it's a travesty. And let me know if you guys think there's something out there that can be done. Is there a hard and fast rule that you could put in place or anything like that to prevent this? Or maybe there is some kind of rule out there. I don't know. But I know Adam Silver cannot be happy about this. And I think this was like an NBA TV game, and so they can't be happy about it either because everybody turned it off after the first quarter. I mean, they had 65 points at halftime. I mean, the Pelicans scored 30 in all four quarters, 30 or more in all four quarters. I mean, it was like a turnstile. It was ridiculous. I am happy that the Pelicans got a win because they're my, secondary favorite team because they're so close and down there in New Orleans, Louisiana, but I mean, I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to let this one go probably on Wednesday. And Thursday will be Thanksgiving. So hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving with your family and your wife and kids if you've got them. And or husband and kids, I should say, if you've got them. For all you ladies watching as well. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. Have a happy Thanksgiving and peace.